Hi, this is April Chen, 10 by 10 founder. I'm so excited today to be here with Adam, founder and CEO of Kia, to tell you more about the company. So Adam, hey, first of all, tell us who you are and what motivated you to start the company.
Hey guys, my name is Adam. I am the founder and CEO of Kia. Just a little fun fact for those that don't know what a Kia is. It's actually a species of a parrot. The idea was, because we are creating AI that sort of speaks back to you, just like a parrot, we sort of named it Kia. So that's a bit of background on what the word Kia means. Would love to share with you guys how this all came to be. And a lot of it actually stems from my background. So I've been in the Valley for 9 years now. Came out of Penn, had stars in my eyes to start a company. And my first company was actually a on-demand food delivery company, one of the very first ones that was competitive with DoorDash. It was called FLUC, F-L-U-C, stands for Food Lovers United Company. I was the BD co-founder. We scaled it to over 10,000 restaurants, and then were subsequently acquired by Google Shopping Express. So a lot of learnings there, working with tons of restaurants. After the acquisition, I literally wanted to learn from people that were much smarter than me. So I joined a gentleman by the name of Raj Kapoor, who was at Mayfield Fund, a large venture capital fund out in the Valley. And he started a company called FitMob, which was a fitness app. You download it and you get access to all these different gyms and studios in your city. I was employee number 5 there, focusing on partnerships. We brought on hundreds of studios onto the platform, and then month 22, we were actually acquired by our largest competitor, ClassPass. So awesome sort of back-to-back experience for me. And then full circle back into the restaurant industry, I joined a company called NextForce, which was focused on labor sharing. So to level set with you guys on the sort of the problem right now in the restaurant industry, labor is a very scarce resource. If it's $15 an hour today, minimum wage, tomorrow it's going to be 16, and then the next day 17. So what we're seeing in the restaurant industry is that there's actually not enough people. People rather work gig economy jobs, at Uber, Lyft. Why work a fryer shift when you don't have to? You can sort of work 2 hours here, 2 hours there. And so what NextForce was really solving is the whole idea of combining labor pools together. So let's say, April, you own 10 McDonald's, I own 10 McDonald's. We're kind of in the same city, but we're not really collaborating as franchisees, as owners of our restaurants. What we would do at NextForce is combine those labor pools together. So you could say, hey, I need 6 people right now, and you could borrow them from me, and I could do the same from you. And so during my 3 years there, I brought in McDonald's at the corporate level, Taco Bell, Panera Bread, almost 2,500 stores during my time.
Wow, Adam, that's a really impressive name brands. How did you actually get into those huge name brands?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just experience from the past. When you immerse yourself into the industry so much, you just kind of force yourself to learn these things.
That's not easy. Kudos to you. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we've been really privileged to be working with some of these larger brands because of that experience. And as I'm sort of deploying all these locations across the U.S., I get invited to conferences and whatnot. And as I'm going to these conferences, almost every single executive is talking about how labor is affecting their operations. And of course, we're helping that at NextForce, but there would be problems like, food is taking too long to cook. The customer service is no longer the same. That's why you're seeing a lot of Yelp reviews, like very low Yelp reviews for these brands like McDonald's and Wingstop. And then the third thing that kept coming up was that brands are no longer able to pick up the phone. We'd see brands like Pizza Hut and Domino's say, whenever a call comes in, the first thing that happens is, hey, can you please wait on hold? And then there's...
No, I just want to say something that is so frustrating. And when I first come across Kia, and I pressed the demo on their homepage. I was like, oh my gosh, like I wish every single restaurant have Kia today, right now, because that's exactly the experience I have. So
100%.
yeah, so maybe you can tell us a little bit more about how is the company doing, how is the growth, because I can just see every single restaurant waiting to get on your platform.
Yeah, so after really identifying this problem, this was like early 2018 is sort of when I was like, you know what, I've heard this so many times from brands, I'm actually going to do something about it. So initially there was no AI, there was no tech whatsoever. I actually convinced an owner in San Jose to forward calls to my cell phone. And I took calls manually for the first couple of weeks. Like, hey, thanks for calling Wingstop. Is this for pickup or delivery? And of course, I'd have to put people on hold, even though obviously I'm just one person. And so after like a week experiment that I did, you know, with one restaurant, uh, by being the dedicated resource, I actually lifted sales by 19% just manually by taking calls. And that was sort of the aha moment. You know, I'm like, if I can do this with the advances of NLP and AI, you can actually build an automated system, a cashier in the cloud, sort of a system. And so throughout 2018, this was sort of a vision that I had, and I ended up quitting my job. The first customers actually became investors in the company. And then,
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, they believe in so much. They put money.
yeah, without any product or anything, it was just, you know, me taking calls at that time. They just had such a big belief in it that they put in the first money in, and you know, then 2018 was sort of building out the team, uh, creating the prototype, and then 2019 we started with just 2 restaurants in March, and literally every single month last year we doubled the number of restaurants that were on the platform, and really scaled it out. So we started with 2, and we were a little over 100 restaurants by the end of the year.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
a lot of hustling. That's not easy. I
it
mean,
was, yeah.
as
It's
a founder, first time founder, I know every deal is hard. So that's amazing. You are
yeah,
able to get a restaurant to trust you with like the first person answer the call. Yeah.
yeah, and it's a pretty substantial piece of their revenue too, right? We're now responsible for 30, 40, maybe even 50% of their revenue by answering those
That's
phone
a
calls.
lot. Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of trust goes into it. But you know what? Like as soon as people start using it in a brand, we work with a lot of large chains. You know, once it starts working, then it's kind of very influential. All the other franchisees and owners get wind of it, and they're like, "Hey, let's do this." And so we've been very lucky. And now, you know, we are over 200 restaurants. You know,
200. That's amazing. Yeah, I can definitely see why they can increase the revenue because I used to be on hold, right? And sometimes I get busy, I hang up, so they just lose my business.
right?
And with working you with your service, they can increase their capacity to take
Correct.
a lot more phone calls.
Exactly. Increased capacity, and
Yeah,
especially with COVID, you know, going
yeah.
out, our business is actually, you know, increased by like 40% because what's
40%. Wow.
yeah, what's happening in the restaurants right now is like a cashier will call out sick.
Yeah.
Of course, the
That's
managers,
yeah. Yeah.
the manager is not going to be like, "Oh, you got to come." They're, you know,
Yeah.
they're calling us because we're that, you know, virtual helping hand
Yeah.
to answer those calls, and be that sort of lifeblood for them. And of course, you know, we're like the best cashier for them. We're not, you know, someone that doesn't care to upsell. We're trying to upsell on every call. We're capturing simultaneous phone calls that are coming into the restaurant, and then we're digitally sending it to the restaurant itself. So it just saves them not only on the labor dollars, of course. Now they don't need necessarily a full-time person taking orders, but it's increasing their top line sales, which I think a lot of the owners really appreciate. And you know, the proof's in the pudding. We sort of found this incredible product market fit, and we're continually iterating and figuring out ways to optimize and make this thing very human-like as we sort of scale it.
So maybe we can transition a little bit. So tell me a little bit about what type of people you are looking for.
Yeah, definitely. So we are, you know, a lean startup, lean but mighty, I should say. We are currently a team of 4 engineers. We have a couple of ops people. We have just one other salesperson and myself doing all the sales. And so all of us here are very entrepreneurial. You know, we wear multiple hats, and it's like no one else is going to do the work. We sort of have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And I think for us, we're looking for very like-minded folks that just want to win. You know, they're animals that really believe in scaling out, you know, large systems, or have that desire, and will do anything possible to make it happen. And if not, if they don't have it in their skill set, they're asking for help. You know, sort of don't have that ego, kind of a feel, right? It's like, hey, we've got this mission. We want to become the Shopify for restaurants, right? Give the control back to restaurants rather than them being aggregated by Grubhub or Uber Eats or DoorDash. Really give them the tools that they need, starting with voice ordering, to get back in control, right? And so I think, you know, we're just looking for people that can align with that vision and can be entrepreneurs in whatever they're doing at the company.
Hey, to bring this to life, do you have some demo you can potentially show it?
Oh, I'd love to. So I'm about to play the demo for Kia. Just conceptually speaking, the way to understand this is that we take over the primary phone line at the restaurant. So if you Google, say, Domino's San Francisco, that number that you see on Google or Yelp, we're forwarding to our system, and then you hear this experience. All right.
This is Riley for Domino's on Northern Boulevard in Flushing. Delivery or takeout?
Deliver.
Can I have your address, please?
1134 and 14 Franklin Avenue.
Great. What can I get for you today?
Pepperoni and jalapenos. Medium.
Okay, that is 1 pizza. Would you like anything else such as drinks or sides?
1 drink, 1 Coke.
Okay, I'll get a 2-liter of Coke on there.
Yeah, that's it.
I've got 1 medium hand-tossed pizza with pepperoni jalapeno peppers, 1 2-liter Coke. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That would be $27.79, including delivery and tax. Did you want to pay using card or cash?
In cash.
Can I please get your first and last name?
The last name is Raul
And your first name, please.
Maldonado.
Thanks, Marganondo. Your order comes to $27.79, including delivery and tax, and will be delivered in 26 to 36 minutes at 13,414 Franklin Avenue, Flushing. Thanks for choosing Domino's, and have a great day.
Thank you so much. Good night.
All right.
Okay, great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so you can imagine those sort of interactions happening 22 and a half hours a day, several thousand times per day. And yeah, we're really looking forward to just scaling this out by quite a bit. There's a little over 500 restaurants in our backlog, so could use all the help that we can get to sort of fulfill that.
Hey, so tell us a little bit about what are the engineering challenges the engineers will be facing to building the product?
100%. There's quite a bit on our roadmap. First and foremost, the problem that we're solving here is sort of the talking problem, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's say someone is placing an order. They're like, hey, I'd like a large cheese pizza. I'd like a 2-liter of Coke. I'll have a cheesy bread, and let me get some ranch with that.
Hey, I can see you can upsell at this point easily. So
Yeah.
They will never forget to upsell. No wonder the revenue will go up. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's complicated, right? Because someone could be placing their order, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, you know what? Actually, on that large cheese pizza, can I get olives and mushrooms on it? And so the ability to go forward and then backward and fill in the slot sort of accurately without a human having to come into the loop every time is sort of one of the biggest challenging problems that we have at the moment. And so you can imagine if we solve that to a very high degree, that majority of our transactions are sort of, autonomous. and they don't really need a human that is helping with the orders in the background, right? And at that point, the commission that we make is relatively profitable, right? We don't really need, aside from tech costs there, it's sort of just doing its thing. It's essentially being a human. It's the AI that's sort of doing most of the work. So I think that's a big one. A lot of that is like conversational engineering. There's a lot of back end work that needs to be done there. A lot of front end work. I sort of see this as there's a lot of low hanging fruit. What is AI? It's a group of humans sort of training a system to get it better and better and better. And so you can sort of gradually remove the human out of the loop. But in the meantime, there's just so much low hanging fruit where you could supercharge a human's powers, right? You could essentially have them do more things at the same time by creating product for them. And that's sort of what we're set out to do initially.
That's great. Hey, thank you so much for your time. And we look forward to work with you, find you a lot of great engineers. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.